Life is full of noise, and sometimes the only way to hear what matters is to get quiet. My guest at episode 5, Dave Lingley, has found that space between motion and stillness. He's a Reiki instructor, spiritual teacher, and lifelong fitness enthusiast who's learned that the energy we build in our bodies is the same energy that fuels our purpose. We talk about mindfulness, faith, creativity, and those moments that remind us to slow down, to listen, to breathe, and to just be. This episode is chock full of laughter, honesty, and a shared sense of gratitude for the lessons we've learned along the way. Enjoy episode 5, and remember to hit like, subscribe, comment, and please share with friends and family. Welcome to the studio, Dave Lingley. Great to see you today.
Hey, it's good to see you again today, Stu.
We got a lot to talk about.
Yeah.
I want to start with where you're from. I don't think we've ever talked about that, and how you started your fitness journey, where that, and how that led into bodybuilding too.
Yeah. So I'm from Nashua, New Hampshire, which is southern New Hampshire, and grew up there, and that's where the fitness journey started. Like most young kids back in the 80s, it started out with the cement, the cement
Plastic weights.
Yeah, yep. Whatever those were, those plates, that were 4 inches thick and only weighed 5 pounds. It started with that. I didn't know what I was doing, but I was doing arms or whatever. I wasn't really following anything at the time, and off and on doing that. And then it wasn't until college. When I got into college, a buddy of mine and I went to check out a new fitness place that was opening in Merrimack called California Fitness. And, looking back, it was a total scam. They had these beautiful charts and pictures of what it was going to look like, but they put it on the second floor of where the YMCA was and still is in Merrimack. And they were showing us the latest of the hydraulic machines, I think, coming out of Germany, chrome weights. I mean, just beautiful. And so, of course, I asked, so what happens if you don't open? Because there was nothing in there except a couple of machines to try and a slick sales guy. Oh, right. You can work out at the Y if you sign up today, and you'll be able to, your membership will extend there. So the Y got stuck with all of us because the place never opened. And my buddy, I didn't know anything about, I'd never used machines before or really free weights beyond what was in my house. But he was a second degree black belt, I think at the time, worked out a lot, read a lot of magazines, really followed the whole bodybuilding scene, was into wrestling when he was younger. So he kind of was familiar with that whole thing. And so he kind of threw together, what you and I got to know as the crazy 80s workout programs. I think less than 3 hours. You're a baby.
Yeah. And
so
you'd have to eat you'd have to have about 30,000 calories for those workouts. We never got close to 4,
Yeah. So when I started, my first couple sets, I think I was doing on a row machine, not cable, but probably Nautilus. And I was just stronger than everybody around me. It just came naturally. So my bench went up super fast, squat went up super fast, although form probably wasn't even getting close to parallel. But everything was about how much can you do, how much weight, how much reps. And that's what was in all the magazines too. You just do 500 reps of biceps. Matter of fact, one time, one of my favorite stories is we were doing drop sets on the cable. With just with a pad to do it. And he kept dropping the weight on me. And then he dropped the weight one more time and he goes, I'm going to go talk to her. And he goes over and talks to the pretty girl. 300 reps, do, because he didn't come back. I had sweat.
And you just kept going.
And I just kept going. And that's like one of my favorite memories, actually. I'll never forget that. But I got to 300 and then I put it down and went over. I said, did you forget? Like, oh, yeah.
I'm going to go eat some donuts or something.
Yeah. So
that's the crazy stuff we did back then, training, 80s, early 90s. It was crazy, Dave, wasn't it?
Yeah. Yeah. It was insane. So I did that for a long time, overtraining. Tried, all the terrible tasting supplements that came out with hopes that, it would make me bigger, but staying natural. And then I moved to Australia for a couple of years with work and really focused on diet and training. By then, the big turner there was Muscle Media 2000 magazine. And that magazine told the truth. They had a 1 to 2 page article every month from the steroid guru himself. So he said, this is going to do this. They introduced creatine onto the scene. And here I was in Australia. I just couldn't get enough. I had to ship some of the supplements over. And that's where I did my first competition.
Real quick, was that Dan Duchesne or who was that?
It was Dan Duchesne doing the article. And it was Bill Phillips.
Bill Phillips was the publisher?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I remember that.
Yeah, and then they had the EAS supplements, which were
started
fantastic.
the EAS line.
Yeah,
and that was the first, really the first competition for metrics.
Well, they brought metrics onto the scene too. So Bill was partnered with the doctor who brought metrics.
Oh no!
And then there was a falling out, and he started EAS.
Okay, very successful guy.
Extremely, yeah. And then he tried to go mainstream, and it seemed to kind of go downhill after that.
Yeah. But he was everywhere for a long time, for in the early '90s to mid '90s, late '90s.
Yeah, you tell the truth, and magic things happen.
Absolutely. All right, let's circle back to you're in Australia.
Yeah. So in Australia is where I really started to understand the diet. I would talk to a lot of people over here, especially when I was in college and training. And they were, they were all juiced to the gills, a lot of team competitors. I was a bouncer in that space that was supposed to be California Fitness, became the Speakeasy nightclub. So I was a bouncer there. So would have a lot of the younger jacked guys come in and one was working there. So I picked their brains. What are you eating? What are you eating? And of course it was all just chicken and rice. Just eat chicken and rice. And the amount that they were eating was just crazy. So when Muscle Media came out, it sort of laid it out a bit better, cycling the calories, and I was able to get rid of that layer of fat and get myself probably under 5% body fat. I mean, I was shredded. I couldn't get huge, but I could get shredded.
That's impressive. Yeah,
it was great,
especially natural.
Yeah, and the show was supposedly natural too.
Which show was it?
It was Australian Amateur National Bodybuilding, I think AANB.
Oh my God!
I still have my card.
Do you still have like the trophy or anything like that? That would be great.
Yeah, trophies over there on my shelf.
You'll have to grab that. That would. I love that old stuff. I wish I still had all of mine. The only one that survived was a bowl from the Massachusetts State Championships from 1993, and I came in 4th place in the heavyweights. Over the years, that has been a candy dish. It has been an ashtray, but it's now.
It tells its own story.
But it tells its own story, and it's still here. Here. So I'm sorry. Back to you.
Oh no, that's great. And that was so intense. I spent a year. I have all my spreadsheets. Every day I entered what I did, what supplements I took, and every single thing I ate was in there. Good. And I was doing a cycle that food that Bill Phillips recommended, which was basically 100% of your calories, 120%, and then 80%. And you do that over and over and over again. And some of those 80% days were just awful. The benefit in Australia was I walked to work every day, walked home every day. Yeah. There was a butcher and a vegetable stand and then the grocery store right next to each other. And the grocery store was really tiny. So I bought whatever I ate that day was all bought fresh that day. Nice.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it was
probably organic, I would imagine too back then,
I mean, back then they didn't even label stuff. We're probably talking it's either probably 93, maybe 94. Okay. Probably 94, because right after that, came back, got married, started having kids, and then once I started having kids, the workout stuff was out the window. And I think I burned myself out with that competition a bit too. It was, I ate like crazy for 3 months after. But when I started having kids, probably about a good 10 to 14 years of just in and out. And then my youngest, was probably 14 when he started playing high school football.
Mhm.
And he said, or maybe it's when he started wrestling, but I remember saying, I want you to teach me how to work out in the weight room. And Stu, that was it. That was,
that's
I haven't
awesome.
stopped since, been back. I mean, he's 28 now. So,
Well, I think it's great. And, I talked to you about this a lot in your relationship with Cody, your stepson, how you train with him and stuff, and how I've got to tag along a bunch of times. It's great to see it. It really is.
we feel like we get to tag along with you. So
yeah, that's how you should feel, truthfully. But
it's an honor. Well, it's an honor and it's a punishment.
it is. And we're gonna talk about very shortly why the heck you ever wanted to trade legs with me when I was preparing for the nationals. I don't know what you would think, because I wouldn't want to do it. But let's circle back a little bit.
We should talk about that. But go ahead.
Yeah, no, we're going to talk about that because I think you're crazy. So you're talking about your training with your son, and how has your training evolved over the years? I mean, we're in our mid 50s now.
Yeah.
And the key word for us is adapt, right? We got to continue to adapt and focus on rest and recovery more. These are things that weren't quite apparent when we were, in the 90s. There wasn't as much research.
No, like I said, 2 to 3 hours, 6, sometimes 7 days a week at.
It was insane.
First it was the Y, then Gold's in Nashville opened up with Kevin, who ran it. So here you have a professional bodybuilder that, goes on the Olympia stage running the place. And there's a bunch of guys. Triple H came out of there while I was there. There were some big guys.
Yeah, and we're talking, everybody listening, we're talking about IFBB pro Kevin McGaughan, who is from, I believe, the Nashville. He's either from Nashville or from Lowell, in that area, Lowell, Mass.
I think he's from the Lowell area. Yeah.
Yeah, but he's a great guy. I've known Kevin now, but we've known him for 30 years. And his brother Paul, big part of the fitness community up in Southern New Hampshire, for sure.
Yeah, and it was a good vibe there.
Yeah. It's a nice gym. I didn't train there when they were there, but I trained there in the later years. It's a very nice gym.
Yeah, well, and they had all the right equipment since that was his job. So, tons of calf equipment. I mean, everything was just great. But the styles and training, first it was just going crazy, reading the Weeder mags and doing whatever they said in there. That it turns out the pros probably weren't really doing that.
No.
And then when I competed, it got to a little bit more of a little bit closer to the way Dorian Yates trained. So you would do 3-4 sets, you'd work your way up to failure, and then that would be potentially your last set, or you'd drop it and go to failure again. So for me, I would do all the leg extensions and leg curls and exhaust. The gym that I was at in Australia didn't have a leg press. Exhaust the heck out of my legs. And I would go over to the Smith machine and I would literally do the set until I fell to the floor. I was the only one training like that there.
It's intensity.
Yeah. But one of the managers over there had been pro for a little while, so he knew what I was doing. The other manager would come over once in a while and be like, "Are you okay?" Because I'd just be laying on the floor. I couldn't do anything. So that, it switched from length of time. I could get my workout done in 45 to 60 minutes. And that was without the cardio, but it was super intense.
Right.
And then when I took the time off and came back to train my son, Dorian was making popular his training program that he had used. By that time he had, certainly he had stopped with that sudden retirement. But what do you call it? Blood and guts? Is that what it's called? It's very similar. It's do 2 warm-up sets and then go as heavy as you can for 5+ reps to failure. So we did that probably for a year or two, and he responded really well. I still remember the day he outbenched me.
Hey, let me ask you. So, how many? You said you had 2 warm-up sets, then you went for reps of 5 to right? Is that correct? For 100%.
Yeah. Then you would go.
So, how many sets at that 100%?
At the absolute 100%, meaning you truly failed, it was just 1.
Okay.
Yeah, you could get through that workout in 45 to 60 minutes. And Dorian would say, if it's longer, you're not doing it right. You're not training hard enough. You haven't met my oldest son, but he's about 6 feet tall. So he's mean, but like almost your height. So he's a big boy. So he beat me hard on all the lifts, bench, deadlift. It was a proud moment to see that happen.
Yeah, absolutely.
But yeah, he's still a really, he's a big guy. And I base a lot of that on that original training that we did at the beginning. And then, now I varied that. I've done training like that. Today you saw me doing a lot of supersets because I didn't have much time. So I was trying to squeeze everything in. So I do a lot of stuff by feel now. Joe Bennett, hypertrophy coach, really, really had a major impact on some of the exercises I do. He's got he's got an app out there. He's got a YouTube channel. He works with all the Olympia level people. But he had a challenge. I think this is about the time you and I met. He had a challenge for body transformation. And out of COVID, I put a ton of weight on. Just nasty, not being able to go into the gym. I have equipment here, but I don't train with the same intensity if no one's around me.
Right.
And so I did the challenge, and I was thinking, well, this is a global challenge. People know who he is. This is just to motivate me, but I'm not going to have anything happen. Came in second, Stu.
That's
So I
awesome.
was like,
You look great. You looked great. You did. You looked great.
well, and I think that's about the time we met, because I remember telling my wife, holy crap, I came in second. Do you know what this means? She said, isn't second good enough? I said, no, I got to win the next one. And that was it. It clicked the switch, same as I was going to be stepping on stage. And I stripped the rest of that weight off. Yeah, it was awesome. Won by double the votes of everybody else, just crushed it.
That's awesome.
Yeah. So
That's awesome.
So that was great. I was able to keep in that shape for a while, and then we'll talk more about that. But now I'm more of a, what does it feel like? How do I feel today? How much time do I have?
Right.
And which body parts do I want to, what did I work out yesterday? Or now the case might be 3 days ago. How am I going to cycle this? I definitely have found I need more time for recovery, because oddly enough, I'm working out less and I'm putting size on again. So,
yeah. Well, you're big, you're really full,
yeah.
which is good, and if sometimes when you slow down, you're not working out quite as much and you have more recovery, that does happen. For me, the problem is I just love to work out so much. I've got to get in there. But you're right, it's time management. I mean, as we get older, it gets harder and harder. A lot of my
priorities
time
change.
Yeah, and priorities change, but a lot of my time is recovery. Stretching, foam rolling, fascia work, very important stuff. And and that's the stuff where I start to slide off on, just going down the side road here a little bit. But I think that's common, But again, we're adapting, and that's what this is about, right? It's about adapting. Let's go talk about that. So I think we met around 2021, right? In that range, was that?
You were training for the Nationals, and I think I had trained legs that day. I usually trained by myself if I wasn't training. You mentioned my stepson, Cody. But when I trained by myself, it usually would get super intense, super dialed in. I probably look like a maniac, and everybody's too afraid to talk to me, which is totally opposite, as you know, of who I am. So I remember going in the locker room and just dialed in, like, just to finish my workout, probably was nauseous. And you're like, hey, getting old rough, huh? And I'm like, that's the first thing he notices in me. Fantastic. And then we just started talking a little bit. And then you said, hey, I need somebody to help me train for legs for the Nationals. What are you thinking? I'm like, this guy's asking me? Oh, this is a challenge. So I was thankful. I was like, well, you're going to dial me up 2 more levels. And oh my gosh.
Yeah, no, it's pretty cool. And, I wanted the accountability, and I could see you had a fire in you. And,
oh yeah. Yeah.
We need that in the gym as a training partner. You're the only, Dave, I'll be honest with you, the only person I've done that with. I haven't trained with that. I don't train with anyone. We had some great leg workouts to the point where
I hope we have some more coming up, because I haven't been training legs.
No, my knee's been bothering me. So I've adapted to having a bum left knee by not doing legs. But we'll get that fixed, and we'll definitely hit legs again.
We'll talk about that then too, off camera. We'll get that fixed.
Yeah, we're going to get that fixed. Let me ask you, you're in corporate America, and I know it can be stressful, especially with your position at the level you're at. How does the working out and fitness help your mental health approach, and where does that fit in?
Well, it's funny you brought that up because I think that's one of the things, and we can either talk about this more or not, but I think that's one of the things that brought us together as strong as we did, as quickly as we did, because we have a lot of the same coping mechanisms for the same types of things. Mm-hmm. So for me, I didn't know it at the time, because back in the 80s, there was no anxiety. There was not really any depression, unless you were a housewife, maybe.
It was brushed under the rug. Dave was brushed under the rug. That's simple.
For males, it was, you didn't talk about it. So for me, what I found out when I was lifting is I had a terrible temper. Not at people. I don't like conflict. I'm very good as being a peacemaker. This is what made me a great bouncer, actually. And I learned a lot of people skills being a bouncer. You calm down two drunk people, you learn quick, or you fight.
It's interesting. When I was in the summer of, I think it was 89 or 90, after college, I lived down the Cape, and I was a bouncer at a club called the Mill Hill Club, which is the second biggest club on the Cape. But to your point, I couldn't fight my way out of a paper bag, but I could talk my way out of anything. So within like 10 days, they saw how, I could just shoot the shit with everybody. Next thing you know, I'm at the front door. So there you go. Yeah. Absolutely.
I did both. I like being both. My favorite line would always be, I want you to look at me. Okay? You calm? All right. I want you to look over there. See that guy? He's my friend. He works with me, and he's looking at you right now. See that guy over there? He's looking at you right now, too. The guy behind me you can't see, he's looking at you too right now. So if you decide you want to escalate this, you really should think about it. Boom, bring the whole mood down.
Oh, yeah. I feel like I should take my wallet out. Here's $10, Dave. Don't beat me up.
Yeah, exactly. So, but
don't let your friends hurt me.
That was I know I'm segueing a little bit, but
that's all right.
That job was probably one of the most influential things that brought me into what I use in my career every day is talking to people. But we'll come back to that when we talk about intuition, maybe. But but you were asking about corporate and how fitness fits into that. So really, my whole life, if I was depressed about something, or if I was anxious about something, or super angry about something, once I had the gym, that's where I went. Sometimes I work out twice a day because I come home, get pissed about something else, and go right back to the gym. Wow, that sun is hitting me. So the gym early on in college became an outlet for especially any tension or anger or anxiety I was holding, and it certainly would fuel those workouts. And then going into corporate America, it was no different. In fact, you knew me when I was doing global travel nonstop and really starting to spiral, and maybe getting 3 to 4 hours of sleep at night. But I was always at the gym. If I was going to a country that I hadn't been to yet, or an area in the country, I would look up on Instagram where the bodybuilder gyms might be. I had my favorite gyms around the world that I would go to, and I loved it. When I would go on vacation, I used to do the same thing. People want to go see sites. The first thing I want to see is the gym. I want to see the local gym and see what it's like and what are people.
That's cool.
Doing. Yeah,
that's wicked cool.
I was in India.
And you sent me some pictures of some unbelievable gyms around the world. Some really cool places. What was the one? Was in Sweden? Were you in Sweden? Somewhere in there, Norway?
I was in Denmark a lot. And
Denmark.
There were a couple pros that ran that gym, and that gym only kept getting better. Like, they were in one space while I was there, and then they moved. Then they started to add more equipment and tons of leg equipment. They added a pendulum squat that was really hard. You could do it without any plates on it and still kill yourself.
Still kill you.
Yeah. So, and the Gold's Gym, I think in Berlin, was like 2 or 3 floors. It was massive. And they had every major brand name, go over here to do that brand name, go over here to do that brand name. It's pretty wild.
Pretty cool, brother. Pretty
Yeah.
cool. Give me a memory from our leg days up. Where did we go? We went up to Concord, New Hampshire.
We did a lot of training at the zoo in Concord.
Yeah, they have a lot of leg equipment. Great gym. But
fantastic.
share a memory. I've got a few, but share a memory.
Let's see. Am I sharing when you'd yell at me or?
No, that never happened.
No, that's only when I was spotting you. So every time I would leave, I would take a screenshot because I'd record what we did, and I would send it to my oldest son. He'd be like, "Holy shit, you're overtraining. What are you doing?" I'm like, "No, this is good. This is good." And I would come home and spend the rest of the day on the couch because I couldn't move. To pick a single memory is just there were a couple times, usually on a hack squat, I would go to spot you, but I'd only put my hands in position just in case. Don't touch it. And there'd be some explosive in the middle of it. Nothing that I hadn't heard before or probably yelled at other people. And it would make me laugh, actually. So these workouts were brutal, but we had a freaking great time.
Yeah, we did. It was intense.
It was always fun.
Yeah, they were brutal. That was, that effort was towards about 6 to 8 months out when I was really pushing hard to try to get some size on still. And everything revolved around leg day Sunday, really and it was like that for a couple of years. You and I probably did legs together for that show for about 6 months.
Yeah.
But that was a great time for me, and you were part of it. It was
awesome.
And
then you went and did stairs afterwards.
Man.
That told me I failed. You shouldn't have been able to eat.
I was somewhere else. Well, you know what? That's where our friendship was forged. That's for sure.
Oh, absolutely. Forged with iron, right?
And we've talked about mental health. I've talked about my anxiety and how fitness has helped me. And, I always say to people that love to train and they use that for their mental health, they like to train 7 days a week. I said, well, I mean, if it's for your mental health, do what you have to do, right?
Right.
We want to regulate it all, but mental health comes first, Dave, right? And it really does. And that's what I'm thankful for all these years in the gym personally. But all right, we're going to kind of switch to, let's talk about your spirituality. You are a deeply spiritual person. Where does that come from? And moving forward, the next part to that question would be, how did you get into, or what got you into meditation?
Yeah. It's, like you said, I'll probably be a repeat visitor because we could spend hours talking about this. So let me lay the base first, but not take too much time laying it. So, when I was growing up, my grandmother was practicing Seventh-day Adventist, and but her kids, family of 8, they had all been raised Catholic, and at some point, I don't know what the story is on how she moved over to be a Seventh-day Adventist, and even if I'm not even sure if she went to church with them. But it was my grandfather's rule. He was Lithuanian and he was American, he would tell you, but his parents were from Lithuania. And he was either born here, she was pregnant when they came over, or he was born there and came right over. So my mother did a really interesting thing. She said, I want you to explore religions. And we're talking about me being like 8. I want you to explore religions. Go to a Catholic church with your aunt. Oh, look, the Mormons just knocked on our door. Let's have them come in and talk to us. Wow. Go to church with your grandmother. You choose what faith you want. Okay.
That's amazing.
Yeah. Now I didn't know what I was doing now. So you may have figured this out. You may have not. If somebody lays a bunch of paths in front of me, I'm going to take the hardest one every single time. I don't know why. but I'll just do it and challenge myself. Well, Seventh-day Adventist is extremely strict. Church is on Saturday because as the Ten Commandments say, seventh day is a rest day. So on the original calendar, that would be then. Not arguing for or against any religion. We'll get into that. But food rules from Deuteronomy, pretty close to what the Jewish practice. No pork, no shellfish, no drinking, no drugs. So high school, I couldn't go to parties on Friday nights. If I by chance got invited to one, maybe that happened once or twice on a Saturday, I couldn't drink. And that also activities, right? Sports, no Friday night sports. So it also made me get used to, I wasn't alone, but I didn't develop as strong bonds with as many people. I developed strong bonds with just a few people that didn't care about that stuff. So from there, I had a lot of questions when I was in the church. We would go, every once in a while, we would go door to door looking for donations for the church. And I hated it. I mean, I was young. Probably did this from, I don't know, maybe 10 years old. It's hard to remember, to 16 or 15. And we would go in groups and go door to door, and everybody would get a neighborhood. And you go and hand out pamphlets, and same thing that happens with other religions. And my philosophy all the time was, why are we out here doing this? I found the religion I wanted, why are we bothering these people? Why don't they just, wake up, but why don't they just find what they want? I didn't like being preachy, and I still don't. So in the religion, worked my way up to a junior deacon, which means that, we'd hand the plate out at church and do different things. And then my grandmother had a massive stroke in church. Massive.
During a service?
Right during the service. Yeah. I had to jump over the pew to get down to call the ambulance, all that stuff. It was pretty intense. My grandfather had passed probably not even a year before, and they were together their whole lives. So we often hear about that, about, couples from previous generations stay together a long time. And for whatever reason, I mean, she always used to say, well, if I'm going to die, I hope I die in church, right? She just absolutely loved the faith, everything with it. So that happened. And then I don't think I ever stepped foot in that church again.
Did she pass, Dave? Did she pass?
Yeah.
Because of that's okay.
Right there. Yeah. And I have an uncle that's my age, who was like a brother, and he was there too. And we never went back again. For a lot of different reasons I don't need to go into, but that would be one of the primary reasons, right?
It's traumatic.
How could you go back and stand in that? I mean, we always sat in the same place. How do you go back to that? So now the whole time I was in the church, I had a lot of curiosities, like, well, why is this the right religion? It can't be just one. What happens to all the people on islands that haven't had people from this church go and talk to them? Are they going to hell? Like, things, the way I always logically think of stuff, never added up to me. Well, why is their belief system wrong? And, the church has an answer for a lot of those, but some of them, every church you ask any question of, sometimes the answer is just, it doesn't work with a logical engineering brain, right? So when I left that church, I continued to be very, very strong in faith about God and Jesus, but it wasn't a weekly service for me. To this day, I still won't eat shellfish or pork. I do enjoy caffeine and coffee now, which wouldn't have been allowed. But I still don't drink. I've never drank. Certainly I've tasted a drop because I'm like, what's up with this stuff? But I've never, we probably have never talked about that, but that's why I've never drank either.
No, I didn't know it was because of the Seventh Adventist Church. I knew you didn't drink alcohol.
Yeah.
Dave, how old were you when your grandmother passed?
So second year of college, probably 18.
Okay.
Yeah.
And that was it. That's the last time you stepped
And
in
that's
it,
when the
at
fitness
that time.
journey started. That's right
Coincidentally.
about, I think when my grandfather passed, it started right around there and then continued a lot heavier after that. Because they lived, I saw my grandparents every day. So they lived maybe 3 miles. I'd ride my bike over when I got older before I could drive. But my grandmother didn't drive, so my mother took her to do all her errands. So my grandfather rarely drove. So I would be over there with my uncle, like I said, we grew up like brothers. It'd be a rare opportunity. We didn't see each other at any given.
Great childhood, though. That's a great childhood.
Oh, it was amazing. Yeah, lots of time outside. That was still the generation of what are you doing in the house?
You know, it's funny. You just made me think about my grandparents, on my maternal grandparents, and neither one ever had their driver's license. You know, and it was every summer. So I'm from Baltimore, and we moved up here when I was probably 3 years old, up to the Boston, greater Boston area. Yeah. But every summer, once I got to like probably 5th grade or so, they would ship me down to Baltimore for a few weeks, and I would spend summers down there with my grandparents.
Yeah.
Great experience. But they didn't have their license. They relied on public transportation. They had, you know, the meat man came once a week to deliver the meat and the dairy place, and the milkman and the egg man. It was pretty cool.
My
that
father
generation,
was milkman.
was it really? That generation was wicked cool.
Yeah.
That's the World War II generation, really. All right, but I digress. I'm sorry.
No, I still have one of the cartons from his from where he was a milkman. So
that's so cool.
Pretty cool. Old wooden. Yeah.
Wicked cool. So when did you start getting into meditation and stuff? When did that start?
So I think it's interesting. Let's see. I'm trying to figure out where to start. So between that period is obviously a very long period, right? We're talking 30 plus years. So how I got into meditation is interesting. After I got divorced, obviously dated a bunch of different people, and gave me a chance to read more books. And I had a ton of different books about science and God, and always liked to study different religions. I had those on the bookshelves and stuff like that. I met a woman who became more of a friendship. And I don't even remember at dinner. I think I was talking about one of the books. So she was asking about spirituality. And then we went to a bookstore. That's right. We're in Portsmouth. We went to a bookstore, and I gravitated to the spirituality section, check that stuff out. And then it just talked to me. I think she's very intuitive. We haven't been in touch in a long time. She said, you know, I don't know what you think about this, but I know what would have been called back then a soul reader. You should go see her and see what she digs out of you. And I was like, of course, my religious brain is going off like crazy. Oh, this is devil stuff. I can't go do that. So I did. I went and saw her, and now she calls herself, she's still around. She calls herself an intuitive, which is same thing, right? So, so I went and saw her, and then I ended up going to see her about every 2 years when something really wacky would be going in my life, because she would give me insights that I was like, yep, that's right. Oh, but this could happen, or this could happen, and just sort of lay things out a little bit clearer for me. So the very last time I went to see her, probably about 3 years ago, maybe. Is it that long? No, probably about 1.5 years ago. She said, you know what? You need to get the book Into the Magic Shop by Dr. James Doty. She said, you are so scientifically and logically minded. She said, but you are so compassionate and so gifted. Either this book's going to resonate with you within a few pages, or you're going to throw it away. She said, but I'm thinking you have to read this book. And she said, the other cool thing that a lot of people do with this book is if you read it and you like it, you have to give it to somebody. Okay. So I don't have a lot of time or attention to sit down and read books anymore. Brain's going too much. So I listen to audiobooks. I highly, highly recommend that book, which is, I believe, his first book. On audio, if you can listen to it on Audible, he reads it. So you hear every single emotion when he goes and he talks about something, which to me, you can feel him through the book. So, and I don't think reading it would quite give you that connection. So within 2 or 3 chapters of reading it, he talks about how, he became a brain surgeon, and that he's affiliated with Stanford. And he decided that, there really needed to be, he talks about his childhood, but as an adult, he decided there really needed to be something to teach people about compassion, especially in the medical community. And that everybody's so just focused on science and the brain when there's so many scientific studies to show that the heart sends out as much information as the brain does, and so does the gut. And his focus was, even though he's a brain surgeon, his focus is thinking through the heart. And he tells an amazing story at the very beginning of the book that will have you on the edge of your seat. And so probably 3 chapters in, I said, I got to sign up for the class that this place offers. So I went online and signed up. It's an 8-week class. It's one night a week. I think it's 2 to 3 hours, maybe 2 hours, not sure. I don't remember. And you go to the class, and then there's homework assignments, and it's all. I went. Stu, you'll laugh at this because it was about compassion. I was like, well, I'm compassionate, but I always want to be more compassionate, especially at work. I always protect my team. I protect my kids and my family. I want to do more of that. So they opened the class up, Stu, with, okay, so today we're going to talk about we're going to get into meditating, and we're going to spend the next 3 classes about self-compassion. I was like, oh, I can't meditate. And there's no such thing as self-compassion. That would be selfish. I have to be doing stuff. Changed my whole life. And so that first class, we did a heart-centered meditation, and I felt my heartbeat. It was amazing. And it wasn't like, oh, when you're laying in bed and you can hear your heartbeat. I wasn't touching my chest at all. I was just focusing and doing the breathing they're saying, and then I could feel it. And then I found that I could do that on a regular basis in just a couple minutes. Now I get a much, much different feeling. But it taught me how to connect to the heart, where a lot of us come from, right? We are heart-centered. Our soul is. And Absolutely. So that's where it started. That's where the meditation started. And then I wanted to learn more.
Yeah, you have been just immersed in this, Dave. And it's I've been on this journey of meditation now for about 9 months. I've meditated before, but really consistently the last 9 months. And, it's a game changer. And, to a point where like I've been struggling with it recently. And in the last 3 days, I've meditated every day. And, man, how much more peace I have, how much calmer I am. Any anxiety I have is a much lower level. So it's like anything else too, Dave. It's a discipline. I tell people it's just like working out. I mean, it's just as hard for me because my brain won't shut down sometimes, and you just got to keep working through it. And you've taught me that too.
You have to give it the time. I was doing it religious. I did it every day for almost a year, probably. I've only been doing it probably not even quite 18 months yet. But when I started, the first 4 months was like a rocket ship. I mean, I would share this with other spiritual people, and I feel like I've known people who have been doing this for 20 years, and they're not, they're not where you're at. So that just drove me further. Well, how far can I go? And
right.
And we both have a friend in common who was hugely influential. I texted him before this to ask if I could say his name, and he didn't get back to me. So we'll leave it for maybe a future thing. But, he started out just a physical therapist because I had a shoulder injury, and he fixed that. But I couldn't always understand what he was doing when he was fixing it, right? He was back there and he's putting needles in it. It hurt like hell. But then he just closed his eyes for a second and put his hand on you. And I had I mean, it still bothers me once in a while. I have a tear in the rotator cuff. Within 3 visits, I had mobility in my shoulder that I hadn't had for 5 years.
He's amazing. He is. We can call him, I think, Dr. Joe. We'll just say that, right? That's fair enough.
Joe. And
Dr. Love.
So Joe could tell that I had stuff going on in me and that I was an intuitive and an empath. But he's interesting. He I think, like me, doesn't like to preach. So, he'd ask questions and wait for me to ask, well, what are you doing there? And then it would always go a step or 2 further until finally he opened the doors a bit more, like, well, here's what I'm doing and here's how I'm doing it. And I meditate and this happens. And I'll share this with you. And people are going to think I'm wacky. I certainly won't share it all with you because professionally, people are going to look this up that I work with when I interview, and they're welcome to ask me any questions. But when we first did our first energy session, he started out with, Dave, do I have permission to talk to your guardian angels? I was like, what?
I love Joe.
He's like, I need permission. And I said, you have permission to talk to anything that's good. He's like, okay. And then he's like, wow, your guardian angels are super cool. And I'm like, well, what do you mean? And so I came home from that. The energy session was like nothing I've ever felt before. And I'm a skeptic. So I don't really respond well to someone saying this medicine's going to work and the placebo effect. I like to be scientific about it. I like to know why. So we talked about it, and then I got home. Well, then it was like, well, that doesn't seem right. Why does he get to talk to my guardian angels? Why can't I talk to my guardian angels? And what other angels did he call in during that session? And so I started to say, well, I'm going to talk to them. This isn't fair.
Absolutely. They're your angels. Damn it.
Right. So it's a funny story, but I really focused a lot every day. I have a sauna at home. I sat in the sauna for up to 2 hours. I would just try to get in the zone, breathing, thinking, I want to connect. I want to connect. And this went on for a couple of weeks. And my wife has been amazing in all of this. It's not that she doesn't believe, but she's certainly not going to spend any of her time doing this. And she certainly was like me probably 18 months ago, where I'd have said, there's something not quite right happening up in your brain. There's some chemical imbalances. And after learning how to do this, I can say, no, I think everybody can do it if they want. Yeah, it's like anything. You have to want it. You have to demonstrate the time. There have been tests certainly given to me to see if I would stay doing it or not. But I had read a little bit about, I try not to read. Well, I used to try not to read too much because when I experienced something, I wanted to make sure it was real, not something my head. So I would have something happen, and then I would go back to Dr. Joe and books and the internet and be like, oh my gosh, that's exactly what happened. That's wild. Or I'd start to do some guided meditations. And sometimes in these guided meditations, they'll say, oh, okay, now you're going to see a golden light. Oh, that started 15 seconds ago. And I'd always be a few steps ahead of when they said, oh, you're going to experience this now. So, and meditation continues to be that. And some days I don't make it now, but it is the priority before the gym. Unless I'm starting to feel like physical tension and I need to get to the gym, then I may skip it. I'll still pray, but I'll skip the actual meditation piece so I have time to make it to the gym. And that's sort of how things are now. But what I wanted to share with you, there are plateaus. So until this week, I had 2 or 3 weeks where I meditated. I just didn't feel connected to anything. And I just finished a 8-week intensive course on connecting with the Akashic records. And I thought, oh, now I'm there. I think there's times where your body has to adjust to whatever's happening spiritually. And I also think there's testing periods. Well, is he going to just give up? Or is he going to keep telling us he wants to be part of this and doing it? And so I'm at the point now, Stu, where I've told you this. I want to carve out the time to start teaching that heart-centered meditation, my version of it. And then hopefully open up opportunities for other people, even if they can just relax. I mean, I'll take my resting heart rate at 75 during meditation. Within 30 minutes, it'll be down in the 50s.
Wow.
There's so many health benefits to that.
Wow. Yeah, I'm looking forward to talking about the YouTube channel and all that stuff. Let me ask you too. I know you're a Reiki practitioner. Do you practice Reiki?
So that's another part of the journey in the last 18 months. So in that first 6 months, because Dr. Joe is also an energy healer beyond having his doctorate in physical therapy, I asked him, well, what do you think about Reiki? They're teaching a class at this place he had pointed me to. I think they're in Methuen, Circles of Wisdom. And he's like, yeah, sure, why not? Joe. Yeah, sure. The guy looks legit. He's published. So I went and
that's perfect. That's Joe.
Yeah, right. Hey, can't hurt. So I went in nervous and blind, and they were often level 1 and level 2. And I had some people who knew Reiki going, "Oh, you're supposed to take at least 8 to 12 weeks between levels." And I'm like, "Oh, no, I'm David Lingley. I can do anything." And I think it was 3 days. I was exhausted at the end of each day. And so it's 3 levels to get your master. So did that. And then about 6 months later, this practitioner lives down in Florida. He came back up and was doing the Reiki master training. So I signed up for that. And that was 3 days. And that's a lot of redoing what you did. At level 1 and level 2, you've got about the skills you're going to get. And I didn't know that. Taking 3 allows you to, you learn one other hand sign, but it allows you to then teach other people and certify them, which I have no plans of doing today. So you asked if I'm practicing today. I'm practicing on my dogs. I do have a table. The plan was to try to set up on Sundays in one of the zoos, and then I got another job. I'm back at the point of calling our friend Rob up and saying, "Hey, is this something I can still do at your place?" Because I would like to be practicing more on people. I did do a session on my wife once, and she was just blown away. But what's funny is normally the sessions now are like just when we're sitting on the couch, or she's like me. She won't ask for help. So if I'm not sensing that there's something going on, which often if I'm sitting next to her and she's hurt her knee, I will feel it in my knee, which is the empath side. Most Reiki people, thankfully, don't feel what the other person's feeling. I unfortunately can sometimes pick it up and carry it around for a few days. So I found out when I did class, one of the guys had a hip injury. He's a runner, and my hip was killing me for a week.
Really?
But his was
that's crazy.
It's pretty wild stuff. So I did that, but at the same time, like I said, Joe was teaching me indirectly, because I'd listen, I'd ask questions, I'd pay attention, and I noticed what angels he would be talking to, and I did reading on that. So now I call it Reiki because that's what I have the diploma in and the certification, but I would call it energy healing because I try to bring in whatever is going to help, and it only works if the person is willing to believe that it could work. The nice thing I love about it is none of these things can harm anybody. The rule that I've heard from several different belief systems is if you do something to harm somebody, it comes back to you 3 to 7 times worse. So, everything I do is heart
positive,
love centered.
Yeah, high vibration.
Yeah.
That's the way to be. God, I lost my train of thought, Dave. I had a question for you.
Yeah. I can get going.
What's that?
I can get going. I can talk when asked the right question.
No, you had some great points. Actually, while we're on the subject, how did you get into crystals? Was that through Dr. Joe as well?
What do you
I would say yes. And I just want to make sure you're not branded or anything. He doesn't have a tattoo somewhere on you.
No, but if he wanted to, Stu.
He could.
We finished an energy session, and I was asking about the crystals he was using. And I said, well, so what's that do for you? Because I would get on his table and I could feel it. I'm super, super sensitive to energy. And so he said, well, here, he spent time thinking, and he grabbed a big piece of quartz, and he goes, take this and tell me what you feel. So I put it in my hand, and I'm like, I feel a cold rock. He goes, he started laughing. He's like, close your eyes, take some deep breaths, and ask the crystal if you can connect to it. And it might tell you no. So Joe's smart. He knows, he just challenged me to connect to the crystal. So I closed my eyes and I went, wow, I'm getting goosebumps. I'm like, wow, I feel this energy going on my arm, and my head's getting really lightheaded. He goes, that's what feeling a crystal is like. He said, he said, you'll have to discover what crystals you can connect with. So clearly quartz is one of them. And then he handed me an amethyst, and the amethyst, which is what I gave used to, I immediately went. So from that weekend, of course, I drove to this place in Methuen, Circles of Wisdom. And they've got lots of crystals there. And I walked in, and it was like just getting hit with a baseball bat of energy when I walked in.
That is so cool.
Yeah. I was like, this can't, and of course I'm going, this can't be real. And I started to think about crystals. Well, crystals vibrate at a certain, rate. That's why they use them in watches. They use them in computers. I mean, it makes a lot of sense if you're sensitive to energy. Now, whether they can do anything special for us, well, I guess that's up for interpretation. I think it can. So really, really began sinking deep into amethyst, and it's a healing rock, and started collecting those. And then it all exploded when Joe told me, oh, there's this place in Merrimack, New Hampshire, that's a wholesaler, and they bring over the raw rock. And then you can do whatever you want with it. And so since then, I've got into making different jewelry with it, tumbling it. I'm learning how to drill it now, so I can shape it a bit better, come up with some cool designs. But I like just the raw stuff too. And actually, one of my favorite ones, I don't know if you can do that. Oh yeah, see, look at that.
Oh, that's cool. Wow.
This is called blue kyanite. And
Blue kyanite?
Whenever I touch that, I've got this here too.
What is it?
Rock, blue kyanite.
Okay. What's the purpose of that? What does it do, or what is it believed to be?
What I've read is it raises your frequency, and just helps you to connect to higher powers.
Okay.
And when I touch it, wicked vibration. There's black kyanite too, which is some slightly different properties. Same thing. I just light up. I can feel electricity in my hands when I touch it. It's pretty. It's a really cool feeling. Even if it doesn't do anything, it's a really, really cool feeling. But I believe, So I work a lot with that now. I think that's one of the stones that'll just become a regular thing that I work with.
One of the questions I have was, do you have a particular crystal or stone that is your favorite, and why?
So it would be that, and it would be moldavite.
Moldavite.
Yeah. So somebody told me about moldavite early in this crystal journey, and it's not a crystal. It's from an impact of a meteorite, and everything sort of melts into glass, gets thrown up in the atmosphere, comes back down, and you get moldavite, and there's a limited supply of it. So this place in Merrimack had some, and their stuff is always like 25% the cost of everybody else, because they're actually not spiritual. So they're like, yeah, we feel the energy too, but we're geologists. We like rocks. Mm-hmm. So you get a better price, because once you say it's spiritual, the price starts to go up a lot. So I got the moldavite from them. I'm like, you guys don't feel, he took the tray out, and it was like my hair even stood up higher. It just went crazy.
If that's possible.
Right, exactly. So I found a piece I really liked, and I wear that too. So this one I wear, if I can find it. I wear this all the time, and this is the first thing I wrapped myself.
Oh, that's cool.
And it's a really good size.
And that's what's it called again? The moldavite?
Oh, moldavite.
Moldavite. Okay.
And in fact, I went out after I did this. So the idea behind a crystal or moldavite is it can carry a purpose. It can carry what you wish of it. And so when you get any crystal, especially moldavite, first you want to clear it, because you don't know who it's touched, who's touched it, what's happened. I've got some wild stories about that. And then you want to ask it, why you want to use it. And the Moldavite's always had a specific purpose around work, and it seems to work. So I never take this one off. And it's good in the water. It's glass, so it's fine.
I want to circle back to the statement: wild stories about Moldavite. How wild can they freaking be? Well, Stu, there were midgets involved, some goats.
Yeah, hitting strikes bowling every time. I don't
really.
No. So I of course went back. This is me. I went back and bought 8 pieces of Moldavite. Then next time he was over. And the first person who told me about the Moldavite, she's like, "Oh my gosh, you can't have that much Moldavite. Your house is," I mean, she was trying to fill me in. It's like with just these thoughts of
Moldavite disaster.
Crazy. And if you look it up, there's all these crazy TikTok stories. It seemed to have this TikTok wave of all the bad luck the Moldavite caused. And the guy who taught me Reiki, and I'll pass the name on so you can put him in the credits because he's amazing. He has some books on crystals, and I would talk to him in between our Reiki teachings on breaks, and he'd say, he goes, crystals do help, and I use them in healing. He said, but I always look at him and go, boy, you're putting an awful lot of responsibility on a little rock. So he never seems to lose sight, and this comes from other places than us. So crazy stories. So you want a crazy story?
Yeah, I do.
So I've never had any crazy stories with Moldavite. I've got tons of it in the house right now that I intend to make jewelry out of, but I don't want to give it away. So if you asked me for one, I would give you one because I know who you are and you're in a good place. I wouldn't just give it to anybody who, it looks cool.
And you know what, Dave, truthfully, too, I think I would be sensitive to it because, I was just thinking when you talk about people's energy and stuff, how much I enjoy like teaching a group class because of all the energy in the room when there's more people, right? 8, 9, 10, 11 people. And I'll just stand there and feel the energy. And it's like a giant Reiki session, it's wicked cool.
Yeah. I'll tell you, here, we'll digress for a second. I had to, there was a period in my life where I had to go, be with other troubled teens, working with somebody. It wasn't specifically for me. And this was long before any of this happened. And it was physically and emotionally painful for me I found the minute they came and sat in the room, because it was a session for them to talk about what was bothering them and where they were in their journey, mental illness. And I couldn't understand, why do I feel so bad, and just wanted to cry, with all of them. And it wasn't like watching a movie. I mean, I would come home and tell my wife every time, I don't know what's going on, but I'm in there. It hurts. But I have to be in there. I have to do it. And I later found out, it's because I'm an empath and very, very sensitive and hold on to energy. And I was picking up on all their energy. And so one of the things you have to do is you have to learn how to protect yourself from other lower energies coming in and taking you down. So, but you asked, you wanted a crystal story. So here's the best one I have.
All right, here we go.
I went in this, we were somewhere in New Hampshire. I'm not going to say where. And there was a new crystal tarot, herbs, all different concoctions. It certainly wasn't advertised as witchcraft, which I have nothing against. But I was like, oh, it's a new spiritual store. Maybe I can go in there and get some sage. I think I was looking for like a sage mist or something. And I always have curiosity to go and see what people are doing and what kind of energy they have. And this was early on in the journey, so I didn't really know how to protect myself. So I walked in, and the woman came, the proprietor came from out back, and I was looking around. She didn't say anything to me. And then 2 other women walked in, and she started talking to them. And she said, well, you're going to find this over there. You're going to find this over here. You'll find that over there. And they started talking, and I was like, well, that's kind of rude, but whatever. So now I know where things are because she's told them. So I'm looking at that. And then they sit down to do a tarot reading, and I'm picking up. I've decided what 2 files I wanted. I go and put them on the counter and kind of keep glancing over. She will not look at me. No eye contact. I'm like, this is weird. I understand she has to finish this, but I would think she would look up and be like, hey, just 1 minute. So I walked over, and there was a huge, really nice looking smoky crystal there. And I'm like, oh, I wonder if she's selling this. And I grabbed it, and I swear still, I'm not crazy. Everything in the room went 3 shades darker. It was like there was a shade just pulled down over me. I let go of it, and I was like, just this cold washed over me. I walked out. My wife was waiting out front because she didn't like the smell in there of the sage. And I said, we have to go. And she's like, well, did you get what you wanted? And I said, she goes, well, I can wait. I'm like, no, we have to, just follow me, please. We have to go. And I just felt awful. We got in the car, drove directly home after that, about an hour-long drive. And for the next couple weeks, it was just, the energy was just terrible. And
what do you attribute that to, Dave? What was that?
I don't know if it was from the proprietor, and maybe she practiced on the other side of magic. They say if you're full of light in this, right? If your intention is just love, heart-centered, full of light, then anybody who practices on the dark side is told to leave you alone. Don't do anything. So it could have just been something in the crystal. It could have been something she wanted me out of the shop. Who knows? But it was real. I want to say it felt like after that, it was a bit of a test to see where my faith was. Like, okay, you got some weird, funky stuff going on right now. What are you going to do? And certainly I texted with Joe, and Joe's like, oh yeah, something weird. Because, you can do a lot of this stuff remote. Everybody's reading everything about think about it. This is no coincidence. Everybody's reading a lot about the quantum right now. Movies popping up about the quantum field. Popular Science and Popular Mechanics are posting tons of articles on energy. And
consciousness.
And consciousness. And, I truly believe that's what's going on. So Joe was able to sort of plug in and keep an eye on things and clear me a couple times. But something weird happened, and it made me stronger for it. It made me more faith-based that I was protected and things can't touch me potentially, or they can't touch me. Let's just say it for sure. And that I can work, and release that negative energy, and come out as long as I am confident in it. I think if you're not confident in it, then that's when you stop practicing. And if you go on Reddit, there's a lot of people who hit that wall and they go, I'm out. I don't want to do this. And for me, it's like, I believe you don't have to be out. I believe you could push past it and just learn. This is like classes. We're here to learn. And it's another learning experience to make me stronger until the next thing. Of course, I will share with you when I think that, I always think, oh, but please don't make it too bad. You don't know where the test will go, but yeah, it's that was probably the most intense crystal story I've had. I've brought home dirty crystals before. I ordered a necklace online, and my dog Zoe, who's the Bernese Mountain Dog, if I bring them in the house, if they're good, no worries, quiet. If they're dirty, she will bark until I take them out of the house.
Wow, she picks right up on it, huh?
She picks up. She's always been really sensitive. She used to not let me do Reiki on her. The minute I would start flowing any sort of energy up, run out of the room, whereas the Frenchie just lays back, snores, goes to sleep, loves it. And surprisingly, he doesn't have gas. If anybody's had a Frenchie, they know they're a fart machine. You do Reiki on their belly, the gas doesn't happen.
Little gas machines.
They are gas machines. So I've had some things where I've ordered crystals, so I haven't felt them. And then you bring the box in and you open it up, and then Zoe reacts to it negatively, as well as there's some weirdness in my yard sometimes, and she'll bark at that sort of as a warning. So pretty cool stuff.
Yeah. So what made you want to start making the jewelry though? Like, is it the craft? I was thinking about it. Is the crafting side of it? And I thought about it because for a while, Dave, honest to God, I was thinking about learning how to like crochet or knit, something to kind of occupy my mind until this podcast stuff popped up. So a lot of people watching are probably like, oh, I wish you went to knitting instead, you know? So instead I have to watch this podcast. But how did making jewelry, where did that come from?
So I'm all over the place. I am.
That's pretty cool, though, Dave. That's pretty cool.
Well, if I could do anything in this world and make money at it, it would certainly be art centered. I minored in music. With the job, I don't have a lot of time to play or write music, so I got that piece of moldavite, and I was like, "Well, what do I do with it now?" And the person that I was talking to about it, she said, "Well, have you heard about wire wrapping?" I'm like, "I don't know what you're talking about." And so I looked on YouTube and I was like, oh, all right. So I ordered some copper to start out with. And there's plenty of tutorials of people showing you these cool designs they do. And then it gets to the point where you watch it. It's like learning to play guitar without a teacher. You learn the Rush song that you can't play. So then you write another song that's different because you learn the stuff. So when I started wire wrapping, I'm like, oh, I think I just screwed up, but it'd be cool if I did this. Will this work? A lot of trial and error. So then I got silver wire. You can buy sterling silver wire as well. And now I wrap copper and sterling silver. And now the big thing right now is I'm trying to learn how to make bracelets out of copper, solid copper bracelets.
What inspires your design?
I don't know where it comes from. So when I write music and write poetry and lyrics, you're close enough friend that I share some of my poetry with. Very few people see that. That comes from a voice always. And it's funny, I didn't question it when I was in college, when it really started to peak, because again, the religion base told me that, but if it's another voice, probably evil. So I just would let it happen. And a lot of times when I write lyrics, I have to read it afterwards and try to figure out what it means. I don't know where the words came from. Sometimes I'll have an idea and I'll follow that idea. Other times I'll have an idea and it just goes off. I have this one thing I wrote that I love. It's taking the Amtrak home from Manhattan one day and passed this empty building with graffiti all over it, and just pulled my pen out, had a piece of paper, and just 3 minutes later, there it was. And I still love the words in that. I don't know what they're, I don't know who they're about. They're about somebody, probably picking up on some energy in that building. But same thing with the jewelry. So I'll start with a stone. And now what I do is I'll start with a bunch of stones in front of me and I'll say, well, that's got a cool shape. I'll start with that one. And then I'll pick other stones and put it with it and see what kind of energy I'm getting. And sometimes it's an instant like, oh my gosh, you have to pair these. And then you play around with, well, how's it going to sit on there? And how's it going to stay together? And I still feel at that, you think you got it. And then all of a sudden the stone falls out on the floor. And there's a lot of spiritual swearing that goes on during that period. And but sometimes you just get some really cool pairings. By the way, the other crystal I love to work with is called Prenhite. And it's this really cool green, but the coolest thing about it is when you put it in a tumbler, it gets this really smooth texture. I'll have to bring you some. It's kind of like something gooey froze or
cool. When I'm setting up my studio or the podcast studio, that bedroom, we're definitely going to get some crystal work in there, and we got to get the energy right in there. It'll be nice to have a little area that's really zen for me to do the show from. Yeah,
and we'll set up a crystal grid, and I love to do all this stuff, especially if you can feel it. Because again,
Absolutely.
it sounds like crazy talk, but I don't
know, Dave. I've wired into my energy in my heart.
Yeah, I know you are. And that's why we're friends. because I could
Yeah.
always tell, even you and I were going through, we were both spiraling to the bottom, right?
Yeah.
At the same time. And you had a little bit deeper bottom than I did, I think. I hit bottom faster than you did. But then we weren't working out. We were still staying in touch. And I saw you in the gym. You're like, I started meditating again. And I could tell, here's Stu. Because I knew you had a good heart. I would tell everybody that. Oh, that guy would do anything for anybody. Well, except maybe a couple people in the gym. But they haven't earned it. So,
I don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah. I don't know what I'm talking about either. We'll talk about that off camera.
Yes, we will. Will.
But yeah. Right. You and I have a lot in common. And I think that's what got the bond there. If you had been like you were at 30th rep on a leg press with 700 pounds when you weren't on the leg press, then I wouldn't have worked out with you. I would have said, it's too much negative energy. I can't work out.
This guy's horrible. Who is this guy? Oh man. I'll tell you what though, that was that period in our lives, that was a great time. Those 9 months that we were training together. And it's great when we have Cody too. Cody was a nice addition to that. Those are great memories, Dave. They really are. Yeah.
Just for those listening, Cody's my stepson. He got into lifting probably about the same. Boys hit this 14, 15-year-old age, but it's Cody's story to tell. But the biggest amazing point about Cody is he got super heavy, and then he got the spark, and he lost half his body weight by himself. No coaching other than a little bit of guidance from me, from Stu, on diet. Then we had to reverse it. We had to get him less focused so he could actually put some muscle on. And that kid's transformation is amazing. His focus.
He was Frankenstein's monster there for a little while.
You're gonna have to edit this out because I don't ever compliment him. I don't want him to hear.
No. I might sell it to him actually. I might be able to get a few bucks for this one.
He's gonna play this part over and over again.
He's gonna want to frame it on his Instagram account. So visions of the future for you, Dave. We've talked about a YouTube channel. And you're going to be a great mentor when you do it. Your jewelry, where do you see yourself in 10 years?
10 years. Yikes. If you would ask me that a year ago, I would have said dead, and been completely honest about it. So, the path right now, I think is I'm in technology, usually in the executive suite or just outside of it. It's a lot of stress with that. The side venture right now is to continue to develop. I have a LLC called Cordavidus, which is in Latin loosely translates to the Heart of David, CORDAVIDIS. So I want to develop that brand more. There's a I forget what they call it, not a sub LLC, but there's a sub company called Cordavidus Wellness. So if I could do anything, the things I would do, the jewelry is just an aside. I like to do it. It helps people. I don't think you can make a ton of money doing it unless you sub it out to a third world country, which to me is not the point.
Defeats the purpose.
Defeats the purpose. So if I could do anything, it would be heal people, teach people, and in healing them, also protect their energy. So right now, I focus on healer, protector, teacher. Those are the three things.
That's beautiful.
So Cordavidus Wellness, I would love to build out a studio of different wellness practices that are not drug-based. Wouldn't be doing any Botox in there. It's not that type of wellness. But different types of healers. That's a dream. And then Cordavidus, the dream there was twofold. One was to help companies understand how to treat employees right. If you put your employee first and you can focus your energy there, you've got a loyal employee for a really long time. And Some companies feel like, believe it or not, I've been at companies where they said, I think the people have been here too long. Well, no, they're just not inspired anymore, because the amount of knowledge that they have that takes you a year, 2 years to teach someone else, why would you ever want to throw that away? That's one. The other bit is helping troubled teens. I would right now. I sit on One Life Project. I haven't had a chance to do a lot with them yet. I think they're still regrouping. I hope to do a lot there, because at my heart, I would really like to help these kids that are having a hard time.
Dave, what's the name of the organization? One Life? Is that what you said? I'm sorry.
One Life Project. Yeah.
One Life Project.
If people
Can you
look
talk about that?
I don't, I'd like to, but I haven't, even though I've been there a year, I haven't done a lot with them yet. I'm in contact with the founder. They do a lot of stuff on college campuses. They get a lot of donations from various institutes. I don't dare say who, because that changes, every 6 months, a year. If you say one, their competitor might be in there now, but they'll donate goods and money so that they can hold, against suicide, showing people that people see you, people love you, and it's worth it to live here. I think the founder had a very, very rough childhood, and so he started this company at like 15, this nonprofit, and they've got people from all over the country there.
That's great.
I'm hoping that will balloon out, but also I hope to be at a point financially where, if necessary, I can start my own thing and also help kids.
Well, you have a great heart, and I talk about helping others. I believe that's one of the reasons we're here, is to help each other.
Yeah.
And that starts at the heart. That's centered from the heart. Absolutely. That was awesome, Dave. All right, you want to go into some little rapid fire questions, I think? Some silly stuff?
Sure.
All right. What's your favorite cheat meal?
Oh, gosh. Can I have gluten, or I can't have gluten? Pizza.
Pizza's always a go-to, isn't it?
Yeah, definitely pizza.
Man. All right. The gym rule you wish everyone would follow.
I'm sorry, I missed the first part of that. The what?
The gym rule.
Oh,
that you wish everyone would follow.
Put your weights away. You know what? I can wipe the machine down. Whatever. You forgot to wipe the machine down. I got it.
Yeah.
But, damn it! Put the weights away.
It's a pet peeve of mine as well.
I know it is. It's a pet peeve of anybody who's serious in the gym. So if you don't put your weights away because you think you don't have to, you're an elitist. You're weak. Your last set is putting the damn weights back where you got them.
Yeah, and everybody knows I'm a trainer, so it's like, why can't you just follow the rules? I don't understand it. Anyway, all right. If you could train with anyone ever, historical, could be dead, who would it be? Who would you train with? Some historical figure or celebrity?
Oh, you know what? I've met a lot of my heroes, which, as they say, sometimes is good, sometimes it's not good. But I would love to train with Joe Bennett, the hypertrophy coach.
Oh, no kidding. He's
very spiritually grounded. He's just an all-around really, really great guy. And we both got heart problems from COVID. He'll answer my emails. I mean, he's just a really good person. I'd love to meet the guy.
Yeah. He's had an impact on your life.
Oh,
yeah.
Huge.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
He has no idea how big his impact was.
Yeah. No, that's awesome. Okay. This is kind of a two-step question. Can you Reiki yourself? Is that possible? Can you do Reiki on yourself?
So funny story.
And if you do you Reiki sore muscles? Like after leg day, do you Reiki yourself?
So
I don't.
Do you Reiki yourself?
I thought this was genius.
I came up with talk about that publicly, Stu. No, not much. Sometimes
he Reikis himself all the time.
Yeah, you can actually. So when you're giving Reiki, you're actually Reikiing yourself, as you put it, because I'm not giving my energy to you. I'm just flowing the energy through me. So the energy is flowing through me. So I'm healing myself at the same time. And by the way, that's the whole thing behind spirituality. I did want to hit this point here. People talk about manifesting. I'm going to manifest myself in a mansion. Well, you might end up in a mansion, but guess what? If your heart's not in it, that was probably just going to happen anyways. You only get what you give, and the universe wants you to give positive energy. It wants you to help people. And so that's why, I used to ask myself, oh, they're manifesting. Well, then why are they driving around in that crappy Pinto? Well, actually, they probably have a pretty happy life. And it takes a long time. When I started this, I stopped looking at the Bentley and the mansion across the street and going, oh, I want to get there. I don't care if I get there now. Although he could have invited me to his party last night, but he didn't.
Yeah. But that is Dave, that's a profound awakening.
It is.
I went through that also, and it was a paradigm shift to happiness immediately. And it was a journey. Now I follow my heart. I've done it my whole life, and that's not always the easiest thing to do. I mean, sometimes your heart wants to go somewhere, and it's fighting your ego, and your ego wants to stay in bed, and stay under the covers. But it's always led me to the right place, and I've been happy that whole time. And I mean, it's probably 20 years now for me. And so I think it's. When that happens, and that there's an ascension there as well, absolutely, we're ascending. Yeah,
you're definitely hitting another stair up. So you asked if I do it myself. So again, self-compassion is my weakness. I don't often take care of myself other than, I need to go to the gym or I should eat better. But I honestly forget. So my back will be in pain. And then after a week of complaining about it, my wife will just say, well, can't you do Reiki? Oh yeah. And I forget over and over again because it's about me. But if you were to say to me, Dave, I really don't feel well today, my response now, as you know, would be like, well, do you want me to send you some Reiki? Immediately, I want to help other people. So, but yeah, you totally can do it to yourself too. My hand was killing me on the way to the gym today. So I actually did do it on my hand and helped a little bit.
Cool. All right. Workout song that gets you jacked up.
There's a lot of different things.
Give us a couple.
Yeah. 9 Inch Nails has always been the center, but that's the problem there is that's always been the center of my anger.
Yeah.
So it took me 6 months. I didn't listen to 9 Inch Nails at all because
Dave, can I interject something? It's funny. Yeah. As I've meditated over the last 9 months, my palette for music has changed too.
It changes.
Yeah, and that's and actually entertainment as well. Television. I'm not. I really watch anything violent anymore as much. I'm much more sensitive.
I'm
to
not
things.
interested in horror stuff.
Yeah,
I'll watch it, but reality TV, I hate it.
Yeah,
hate it. Anyway, I can listen to it now, but I don't. I don't devour it. So when I'm in the gym, I'll probably be listening to Tool. They're very spiritual, actually. If you read the words and listen to what he's talking about.
Yeah, he's Keenan Maynard. He's a talented guy, right?
He's awesome. I would love to meet him. But he would not love to meet me because he's very much an introvert. So am I. So yeah, Tool, other less known bands that I like to listen to. Tiny Moving Parts, their younger stuff. They're probably the teens when they were doing that. So I'll listen to a lot of alternative music as long as it's not too angry. Oh, Rage Against the Machine was a big one too.
Yeah, they're great.
I have to be careful listening too much about that.
All those things. It's funny on my palette, but for workout music, I've got the Beatles in there. I've got some symphony, some classical, some Zeppelin, tons of Tool. It's very eclectic, but whatever. It's just something that if it gives me goosebumps, it's going on the workout playlist. That's pretty much the golden rule for it. You can get
positive energy and not negative energy because they can both be super strong.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. Negative energy fueled the Nationals run for me. No question about that.
I was there.
It was. Trying to get rid of some demons.
We were all worried about you, Stu, and praying for you. Absolutely.
In what way, Dave? Thank you. But what were you worried about?
You were pushing yourself so hard. I was afraid your heart was gonna give out on you this time.
Really?
And I said it to you. You didn't hear me a bunch of the times because you only people have done bodybuilding or maybe some other intensive sport. Although I don't think a lot of sports get to the level bodybuilding does. What sport has you starve yourself, right? And still push? I mean, it is an incredible sport in internal. And you were so deep when I would say to you, but Stu, I need you to be careful. Or, I know you're going to do this, but please be careful of your heart. Yeah. I got it. But so what's the next best thing we can do is just be there for you and pray for it. And you know what? Here you are today. You're still here.
Yep. And thank you for caring. It is a level of focus that is hard to describe unless you've done it. And it's not focus for 10 minutes. It's focus for 6 months.
24 hours. You get up at 3 in the morning.
So, and that particular journey, you get wrapped up in it, Dave. And I'm glad it's over. I'm glad I'm retired. Never again will I do that. But it served its purpose. I have a love-hate relationship with bodybuilding. You know that.
We all do. Yeah. I mean, let's not cut it down here about these nationals. I mean, what cut you to the nationals is because you won the Color Classic, dude. So,
yep.
I mean, right there, you're already
run.
You're already elite at that point, and you're going to take it to the next few levels. So,
and I didn't see it coming. I just decided, somebody talked me into competing again, and I'm like, all right. And then I didn't do great. I came in third in the New Englands, and I just said, I'll do one more, and that's when the Cutler happened, and I won that, and then it just all exploded at that point, But it was a great run. All right, final question for the silly stuff. What would you say to little Dave right now, a young Dave, maybe a 7-year-old Dave? What words of advice would you give little Dave? Dave, you are loved. No, you are loved.
So
listen, you're in touch with your inner child. You are, and that's a beautiful thing, my friend.
I think I've shared that with you. I mean, meditation. When I give this heart training, one of the things we'll do is connect with inner children. And, unless you had a gifted childhood, there's a lot of trauma you got to get rid of to move forward. And, every time I think I'm past it, someone like you comes along. I said, I'm not going to cry during Stu's interview, bastard. But yeah, from the outside, a lot of people look like they have a good childhood, but only what your kid, what your inner children, and I do believe you have different stages that you have to reach out and connect with. They lived a trauma for you to get where you're at, and oftentimes they don't know it's okay to let go. So your toxic relationships, the people you're attracted to, or when you have something good happening in your life, but it's going to fail, that's probably your inner child, because it's actually trying to protect you being in that mindset. So before I got into meditation, this is actually important. I'm glad you asked. Before I got into meditation, my whole life was good things happen so that they can break to me. Friends and my cousins would nickname me Job because I always knew if something could go bad in my life, it would, but I would get through it. So I always knew I would get through it, but that's a terrible outlook on life. So every day I would wake up, probably the last 10, 15 more years, every day I would wake up. This is no reflection on my kids because they're the reason I'm here. I would say, another sucky day. And I would start every day with that attitude. So guess what? It's a sucky day. I would have successes around me and for other people, but internally I was suffering. And now every day I wake up and the first thing I'm thankful for is that I'm alive. And when that flipped in my life, you're happy. Right. It doesn't matter. It's going to be okay.
Be grateful, really, right? I mean,
Yep.
just for the simplest thing. That's positivity, Dave.
Yeah,
That's a higher vibration.
sure.
And as we get older and become more and more sensitive to this energy stuff, you really want to surround yourselves with people with higher vibrations, right?
Yeah,
It's much easier to exist, I guess is the simplest way to put it, right?
sure. Yeah, we've got
So
our little.
that's why I love the direction. I love the direction we're in, and somehow we ended up like parallel to each other. But
Yeah,
this is great. Like I can't, like, we're going to have you on again. I mean, we got so many avenues to discuss, and so many roads to go down, and so many doors to open for people.
yeah.
I'm really looking forward to that.
I'm looking forward to it too. You and me and Ernesto, we've got our little positive text chat we got going on, and
Yeah, that's
goes,
wicked cool.
it goes quiet every once in a while, but not more than 2 or 3 days. And I love that. And I'd love to expand on that. Again, just really want to heal, protect, and teach. I think are the three things now attached that I want to chase, and I'd love to be back on and do something a little bit more structured that we could think through on. Well, let's focus now and we could do little mini sessions to focus on things.
I think there's going to be a lot of avenues to go down. Like I said, instructional, informational. We've both got a lot of experience in a lot of different areas that information we could pass on, and I think that's important. And but that's where this is going to splinter into, a lot of different directions. And that's what's exciting about where it's at right now. It's kind of, for me, I feel like at the precipice of something that's going to be much bigger than I realize, and it's pretty cool. It's just really cool.
We're all going to have something much bigger happen on this side, and I don't mean necessarily financially, because I think if you chase money, then you've lost your focus on where you were chasing.
Yeah, no, I agree. It's about reaching people, Dave.
Yeah.
Helping more people. It's about helping people on a broader scale, right? And a bigger scale. Yep. And, I've been blessed to be able to really influence and be a part of many people's lives in a positive way. And this channel this broadcast will allow me to continue that in a much bigger scale. And it's that simple. It's not money motivated. This is really a hobby.
Yeah.
And it's very, very enjoyable. These conversations. They're. When would we ever sit down and just shoot the shit for 2 hours? We do it like 10 minutes in the gym once in a while. But
we got to get sets going in between if we're working out together or we're both trying to get to the next machine. All of that stuff. Like this morning, we saw each other. 5 minutes, lots of fist bumps, not a lot of words.
No. Especially when you got to jam it in. All right. So let's say, Dave, final thoughts, and are any words of encouragement for people out there?
I think, again, not a preacher. Everything I described is me. That's my journey. That's not someone else's journey. When I talk about meditation, other people, they think of, say, Buddhist meditation or just a meditation where you just see black. It's just nothingness. And that's actually not what happens with me. So, we can talk about that more later. But so my advice to people are, don't take away from this that, being a Seventh-day Adventist is wrong. That might be where you're at in your journey. I'm not part of any specific religion or structure because that's not where I am now. I have my beliefs that have been pulled in from everything else. And I feel like I can connect with a whole, but I do think for some people, that's the right place to be. And what I'm trying to say here is I wish more people would just be open-minded. Don't label somebody. You can't categorize. I mean, it's simple as, well, David, what type of music do you listen to? I could never describe that to you in 15 minutes, right? Yeah. It's, or what kind of music do I write even? It's all over the place. There's no category. So stop putting people in human categories and saying one way is right and one way is wrong. And be open-minded. Try to meditate. See what you feel. Try to hold a crystal. I believe not everybody can feel energy from a crystal. I mean, some people can, some people can't. Just be open-minded. And, one thing you could do every day is just say to yourself, where am I supposed to be today? Show me where I should be today. And if you do that every day, it might be a day, it might be a year, you're going to get something back.
Positive.
Yeah.
Powerful, Dave. Positive message.
Sure.
Very positive message. Thank you. That was deep and heartfelt.
Good. And
Thank you.
We got to get you some custom, well, lack of a better word, jewelry, but pendant.
Yeah, we're going to deck me out. I'm going to be all decked out up here. I mean,
I'm
all
gonna
kinds of
make you
stuff.
something. I got to make something for you and Ernesto. Joe has his.
Yeah. Custom yarmulke or something, something we could figure something out.
Yeah. I've been studying a lot about the Kabbalah, so that would be right up your street to go take a look at the mysticism and Judaism.
Absolutely. So,
yeah.
All right, brother. Thanks for joining me. This was a great conversation, and we will have you on soon enough, my friend. We'll
absolutely, and let me know when you get that
the
room.
message.
Call me when you get that room ready, and I'll come over and help you out.
All right, brother. Thank you.
All right,
everybody. Thanks for joining us. Remember to please share, hit like, subscribe, and until next time, see you on the studio.